Hello crafty friends, it's Jessica here and welcome back to Jessie Kate Creates. In today's video I have what I think is a very exciting and fun playing card themed birthday card. Now this card was inspired because back in January Spellbinders came out with their Jack of all trades collection, which was a playing card themed collection, which was super fun because I don't have anything like that in my stash, and they had a bunch of dies and foiling plates and better press plates that were all just playing card themed. And as soon as I saw the collection, there was one item I knew I had to pick up because my dad faithfully plays cards with a group of buddies once a week, and every year for Christmas he asks me to make a Christmas card for all of his poker buddies, which is a little bit of a challenge because I don't have any playing card themed items in my stash. So as soon as I saw the Spellbinders Kaleidoscope Noble Suits die set, I knew I had to get it. This is a layering die set that creates all the suits from a deck of cards. So that was really exciting for me to add to my stash, although I hadn't used it yet. And then recently, Spellbinders reached out to me and very kindly and very graciously offered to send me the Wild Joker die set. This is a new addition to the collection that just came out today on April 1st. And I said yes because do we see this? Do we see how cute and fun and different this is? I had to get my hands on it. And I have ideas for birthday cards, which you're about to see one of them. I also have one or two ideas for maybe how I might make this into a Christmas card. So that will be another video in the future. But for now, let me show you how I used these two dies together to make a very fun, very whimsical birthday card. So I'm going to flip the camera around and we'll talk about the card and some of the thoughts that were going through my head when I was making it. Let's get into the card. So here is the card. I am so happy with how this turned out because I didn't really have a plan in mind when I was creating this. So what I did, I pulled out the Wild Joker die set. As you can see, it's a very detailed die set. And I was trying to decide the color scheme I wanted to use. I knew for certain I was going to use red and black because to me that just screams playing cards. I also wanted to use blue for that same reason. And when I was looking up inspiration, I saw a lot of places also threw in yellow with the Joker. And I mean, you can see they use kind of the same color scheme here on the packaging. But I thought this was a really fun color scheme. Later on in the card, you'll see that I also bring in some white. And I also use the Spellbinders Mirror Gold cardstock as well. So these are the colors I used: Spellbinders Poppy, Raven, Cosmic Sky, Beeswax, Classic White, and Mirror Gold. Okay, so that was the color scheme. And so once I had that part figured out, I just started die cutting stuff from all the different colors I had on hand, and I spent time playing around with how I wanted to pair up all the different colors and the different components until I came up with something that I like. And I think I took a photo of that. If I did, I'll include it here. But that was a good way for me to just play with the die set and get an idea of what I wanted to do with it. One thing I really like is the small details in this die set. So you can see, like on the pants, there's like a trim detail that I cut out of that Mirror Gold cardstock. The cuffs of the sleeves, you know, that's a separate little die that comes in the set, and I cut that out of that same Mirror Gold cardstock. I just thought, I don't know, I just thought it was really fun, and I like it when you can customize all those tiny little details on the card. One thing I do want to point out about this card is the playing cards in the Joker's hand. So in the Wild Joker die set, there are a lot of tiny little detail dies, but one of them is this one right here, and it cuts out 3 playing cards. Also, just an aside, I think these kind of look like little chocolates, so you could totally use these for another card as little chocolates. But anyway, they're supposed to be playing cards, and I cut these out of black and out of white. And when you cut these dies, I hope the camera picks this up, they have this little indented edge to them. Can you guys see that? I hope you can. And so what I did with the black ones was I cut off the outer rectangle and just saved the inner rectangle, and then I layered it on top of the white pieces, and that's how I got my playing cards to look like that. So just a tiny little modification to the die, but I think it looks really good, and I like the detail that it added to the card. So once I had the Joker assembled, it was time for me to think through what I was going to do on the background of the card. Like I said, I hadn't had a chance to play with this Kaleidoscope Noble Suits die set yet, so I thought this was the perfect chance. Again, I cut these out of a couple different colors, but ultimately I decided I wanted to go with the black, the blue, and the gold, because I thought that way it like didn't take away too much from the Joker. Now I will say with this card, with the Joker, I was thinking this is a character that is over the top, whimsical, mischievous, chaotic. So I wanted the card to kind of have that feeling as well. So I didn't mind that there was a lot on the card because I still felt like it went with the vibe of the Joker when I think about what the Joker is as a character. So once I had all that figured out, initially I thought I was going to put this on a white card base, but I didn't love the way it looked on white. So then I decided I was going to put it on a red card base that I just made out of the Poppy cardstock. And that was pretty good, but I thought the background needed a little bit more to it. And y'all know me, I love me an embossing folder. I think it is like the secret weapon of the card making craft room. It adds so much texture and interest to a card, but it can still be something subtle in the background if that's what you need. And that's what I needed with this card. So I pulled out this embossing folder. I think this is the Plaid Diagonals, Plaid Diamonds, something like that. I'm not sure. I'll have it linked in the description box below the video. I will have everything I've used linked in the description box below the video if I have links available for it. So I went ahead and I embossed the background. And I loved the way that looked, just adding a little bit of subtle texture and interest to the back of the card. And then I finished off the inside of the card with just some white cardstock. And initially that's where I was gonna end the card. But I went back and I decided I wanted it to have a sentiment on the card. And in the Wild Joker die set, it has a little banner that cuts out the word Joker, which I thought was really fun, but I wanted a more full sentiment on the card. So I cut that out and then I looked through my stash for another die, just kind of anything that had a birthday related sentiment. And what I ended pulling out was this Spellbinders Space Greetings die set. And there's a die in here that just says happy birthday. It cuts out the words and also the shadow. And I thought that would be perfect for this card. So I cut the shadow out of black and I cut the words out of gold. And I thought that looked really nice. And I decided to put the sentiment on the card kind of wonky at an angle again, because the Joker is a mischievous, chaotic character, and I thought the sentiment should be the same way to kind of reflect that aspect of the Joker. Now, the very last thing I added to the card was some gems. I hope you can see them sparkling. Hopefully the camera is doing them justice. So in this die set, on the Joker's hat and his collar and his boots, it cuts out these little circular baubles, right? And they just look like tiny little dots at the end of a lot of the elements of his outfit. But to me, they were just begging to add some gems to them. So that's what I did. I pulled out my Color Essential gems. I will say these are, well, my absolute favorite gems are these opal Color Essential gems from Spellbinders. They're just like a nice sparkly soft white. I think they're so classy and you can use them on almost any card. Also, pro tip, you can color these with a Sharpie or an alcohol marker to get like a perfect color match if that's something you need. And I have like 7 packs of these. Is that embarrassing to say to the internet? I don't know, but I have like 7 or 8 packs of these because I love them. I use them all the time and I just never want to run out because they're my favorite. But for this card, instead, I opted to use some red and blue gems. I have these in my stash from some Christmas cards I made last year. So I decided to use them on this card because I thought they matched so well with the color scheme. So I added those on to all of the little baubles. You can kind of see they're on the tips of his boot and the tips of the collar. The only place I didn't add one was right here, this little bauble at the bottom of his boot, because most of the boot is covered up and I thought it might look weird to have a random red gem there, so I didn't add one. But I would love to hear your thoughts. Should I go back and add a little red gem here, or do you think it's good like blank? Let me know, because I've been waffling on that and I would love your opinions. So that is the card. Again, I'm so happy with how this turned out. I think this made for a super fun birthday card. And I will say, just a quick note, sometimes I get questions about making masculine cards. And when I'm making cards, what I focus on is not so much is a card masculine or feminine, right? Because anything could be masculine or feminine. I focus more on interests. So I used to have a volunteer I worked with, and he was a retired botanist who bred daylilies as a hobby. And the flowers he brought in were gorgeous, just absolutely beautiful. And if I gave him a card covered in flowers, I know he would absolutely love it because that's an interest that he has. If I gave him this card, I don't know if he'd like it as much because I don't think he was much of like a playing card man. But, you know, everyone has the things they like. Everyone has the things that they're interested in. I know if I gave this card to my dad, I probably won't. I will probably give it to him for him to give to one of his buddies for their birthday, because I know that his friends are really interested in playing cards and they would appreciate this for that reason. So for me, I sometimes try to focus less on, is it a masculine or a feminine card, and more on what types of interests do I have represented in my cards. That's just something that I think about, especially if you're just making cards for family and friends. Like, what are the interests of your family and friends? Make cards towards that. That's just my 2 cents anyway. So that's the card. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. That helps me so much on YouTube. It helps other people to find me and join our crafty community. And if you want to see all of the videos I put out, then be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so that you get notified every time I post a new video. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you got a tip or some crafty inspiration from the video, and I will see you in another video real soon. Bye!